Okay, everybody, I'm just going to show you how to pull up SPSS and enter the data that we need. This is just a recapitulation of what we did in lab. Okay, so you start by just launching SPSS. Sometimes it takes a while, especially if it's the first time that you've opened it. Okay, so we'll just wait. And here, again, we have the list of patients. There are 53 patients, and from those patients we have 3 measurements: their pathology, their hostile suspiciousness score, and their history of thought disturbance. Okay, now the patient number, you're really not going to pay any attention to this once we get into SPSS. It's the other 3 variables that we're going to be interested in. Okay, so we are going to type in data, select OK. And then the very first thing that we're going to do is just name our variables. Okay, so this is pathology. This is hostile suspiciousness, and this is disturbance. And we'll see that each of these defaults to being a numeric variable. That's what we want. We want to make sure that they're all scale. Okay, and then we go back to the Excel file. There are a couple of ways to do this, and I've actually not done this since the new version. So let's see. Okay, so you highlight all of the pathology, not the variable name pathology, but just all of the scores of pathology. Okay, and then you put it in the first cell and then just paste it in with Control V. Okay, so let's do it again with hostile suspiciousness. Command C to copy. Just put your first, just highlight the first cell, Command V. There's hostile suspiciousness. And then you do the same thing for disturbance. We won't do it now. Now, just to show you how to get the correlations, okay, and the means and standard deviations that you need for this lab, up to Analyze, we can go down to Correlate. Okay, we want to ask it to do a bivariate correlation, okay, with pathology, and in this case, just because this is a demonstration, hostile suspiciousness. And then over here in the Options menu, I can actually ask it to do means and standard deviations. Okay. And then I hit OK, and here's my output. So I can tell I've got a mean pathology score of about 22.7 with a standard deviation of 16. Okay. Mean score hostile suspiciousness of 6.62, standard deviation of 0.77. This number here tells me that I have 53 students in my sample, or excuse me, 53 patients in my sample. And then this is the correlation coefficient, okay? So remember, the off-diagonal elements here refer to a variable's degree of correlation with itself. So these are obviously going to be 1.0. Scores on pathology perfectly are correlated with scores on pathology. The off-diagonal elements will tell you about your interrelationships, which is what we're interested in. This first line is the correlation coefficient that you report. Okay, so you would say R in parentheses 51, because remember that the correlation coefficient is the number of participants in your sample minus 2, okay, equals negative 0.107, and then this is your p-value. Okay, this tells you whether or not your relationship is statistically significant. And we did go over that in class, and we're going to continue to go over that in class. So I'm not going to further explain on the movie how to tell here, okay, because that's just, it's making it a little easier than I want to make it. So When we meet together next week, we'll continue to go over this. Alrighty? Have a great rest of your weekend.